Welcome to the Guidance for Light and Sound Meditation video series with Mark from PureEnergyMeditation.com. This is video number 34 of 45.
Hello and welcome back. By now, if you've been working your way through the videos, you'll be practicing different types of meditation and hopefully you're having fun just exploring that. One of the questions that sometimes I get asked and people feed back is that they find that sometimes they're just falling asleep in meditation. Straight away, don't worry if that's you. It's perfectly natural. The bottom line is that it probably means that you're tired, and I know that may sound obvious. But whenever I've done long meditates and when I've had people stay with me and they're doing long meditates, for example, 2 or 3 days, I normally actually say to people on day 1, just sleep. Maybe for half a day, maybe for a few hours, but just sleep. And there have been people that have come to me for a day, to do a day's meditate and to do some more advanced stuff to do with energy. And halfway through, I've said to them, look, have a break, go upstairs, lie down, just get a few hours of sleep because you're obviously tired. And you'll know you're tired because no matter how much you want to meditate, you'll find yourself just, head dipping down, slumping over, and eventually you may just find yourself snoring. And, in which case it's time to be kind to oneself. In other words, if you're that tired, then you're fighting a bit of a losing battle in terms of expecting yourself to be able to sit upright, relax, and stay focused. So it sounds obvious, but I'm bringing it up in this video because it's a reality for a lot of people. Life really is quite challenging, especially if you've got a demanding job or you've got young kids that you're taking care of, then your energy levels are going to be pretty low. So rather than give yourself a hard time, it's better to just acknowledge it and also look at what we can do if that is the situation for you. So, straight away, if you're regularly falling asleep, then chances are you're just tired. What I would then recommend is, apart from the obvious, which is see if you can get more sleep, is let's look at the quality of your sleep, let's look at when you meditate, and let's look at any other factors that might be having an impact. So the quality of your sleep depends to some extent on your mental state as you go to sleep and also on your biological, physiological state. So there's some practical stuff that we can do, and it's well beyond the scope of this video, but I'm just going to point you in a few directions. So there's studies to show that if you go for a walk outside just before going to bed, that it can actually help you to sleep better. There's also a lot of evidence that if you don't eat too late in the day and give your body some time, to digest your food before going to sleep, that you'll actually sleep a lot better and you'll feel better in the morning. If you eat late at night and then go to bed, then you'll find that you feel quite stale in the morning and you won't have had as good a night of sleep. So straight away, there's a few things that we can do in terms of lifestyle to explore better quality of sleep. If you find that your mind is just going crazy as your head goes towards the pillow, then one of the things you could look at, and I'd certainly recommend speaking to a nutritional therapist, is that there's certain things that are known to make it harder for the mind to shut down, and one of them is calcium deficiency. Now, that doesn't mean drinking a glass of milk, because most of the modern studies have shown that milk actually leaches calcium from your body. But there are things that you can look at, for example, molasses or calcium supplement tablets. And you might just want to explore that. But again, I'm not a dietitian or a nutritional therapist, and I'm not a GP. So if you think that this might be the case for you, I'm just pointing it in your direction so that you can talk to your GP and say, hey, could you test me, see what my calcium levels are like? Maybe, is there a supplement I could take? So there's kind of nutritional things that might be impacting on your sleep. As I said, eating late in the day is a big one as well. I mean, generally, try and finish eating by about 7 in the evening. If you're eating at 10 o'clock at night, you're not going to be able to sleep as well. And that's not just a biological thing. What's going on is your liver is trying to detox your body, and your liver, because of the way that the energy flows around your body, your liver is most active between 1 and 3 o'clock in the morning, and it needs you to be still and it needs you to be shut down in order to detox your body. If you can't detox your body is full of toxins and you'll start to feel really rubbish. So if you eat at, say, midnight, the food's still being processed. It takes about 4 to 5 hours to process the food in your body. So because you're in the middle of processing, you're not shut down, and therefore your liver can't detox properly. So you're setting yourself up for a rough night's sleep and feeling a bit blech in the morning. And no one likes to feel like that. It's nice to wake up feeling nice and cleansed and clean. So there's these practical things that we can do. The other thing as well is that if you, for example, eat something like that's very rich, maybe cheese is the classic thing, late at night, you're more likely to actually have nightmares. And this is because something very rich takes a lot of processing. And in order to process the food in your body, your aura gets involved. So some of the processing is actually done using the aura. It's not just a biochemical reaction going on in there. And scientists know this. They don't know this, but they know that if you just put the enzymes and the food together and leave them at body temperature, the process of breaking stuff down is a lot slower than it happens in our bodies. They just haven't realized that one of the reasons is that we're actually using our astral body to accelerate the process. In other words, we're using the energy in our aura to help process our food. But what it means is that at a time when you're supposed to be asleep and your aura detaches from your body, it can't, because it needs to process this food, so it keeps coming back into contact with your body. And because you're coming back into contact with your body with your aura, and you're in your aura having dreams, then your dreams become much more body orientated. And so you are much more in your dreams, and you tend to have nightmares. And the classic case was the guy, I believe it was the person that wrote Dracula, put it down to having a lot of cheese that night, and then had these horrendous nightmares and wrote the story down, and that became the Dracula story. But you can experiment. If you don't believe me, experiment for yourself. Find out what happens if you eat a lot of cheese. Personally, I don't touch cheese anymore, but each for their own. So look at your food, diet, that side of things as well. Get some fresh air. If you've got a lot of anxiety and worry stuff going on, then there's a technique we talked about in another video, which is just writing a list of stuff down so that you can let go of it. That's not just great for meditation, that's great for sleep. So if you've got a checklist going around in your head and it's keeping you awake, write it all down on a piece of paper, put it to one side, because then you can forget about it till the morning. That can help. But generally what you find is that the more you meditate, then the more you start to develop that relationship with stillness, and it can actually help you to sleep. From direct experience, there's people I teach who, after just one meditation session, they report back that they've slept better than they've slept in years. So there's definitely something going on here between relaxation and letting go and then being able to sleep. But if, say, for example, it's the middle of the afternoon, it's well too early to sleep, and you just feel really low energy-wise, and you want to sit and meditate, but you're just going to fall asleep, then what you can do is you can use the 4-count breathing we did earlier, so the counting breath. You can do it in a slightly more ramped up way. So you're still breathing in for 4, pausing for 4 and breathing out for 4, but you're breathing that little bit deeper and you're putting a little bit more energy into each number. And that ramping it up literally will ramp up your energy levels. And you know, you don't want to do this on a regular basis, because you are that tired, you've got to respect your body and you've got to deal with the fact that you need more sleep. But short term, you can get a real energy boost from breathing and doing this counting breath in a very kind of strong yang sort of way. And that can give you that energy boost that can help you then sit and meditate for a bit longer. But I'd always bring it back to, if you're tired, respect your body. It's as simple as that. If you need more sleep, then get more sleep, because ultimately, you know, there's a big imbalance there if you're permanently exhausted, and meditation isn't a band-aid. You know, it can really massively help you in terms of energy rebalancing, energizing, and exploring your inner stillness. But we also need to respect the body and work from the body as well. We can't just ignore what's going on in our bodies. But another thing that's worth understanding, and we've touched on this in an earlier video, but if you missed that one, is if you're trying to meditate and you're lying down, then you're pretty much guaranteed you're going to fall asleep anyway. So I talked, and you can go back to that video, but I talked about the fact that you actually want to be sitting upright. Now, what a lot of people do in the morning or at night is they sit in their bed and then try and meditate, and they just find that they fall asleep. There's subtle things going on here. So the bed has it's almost like there's a vibration about sleep around the bed. So you might be better off sitting in a sofa or a chair or on a beanbag and keeping the bed as a place that you sleep. Because there's also memory in terms of the habit. So you go to bed to sleep, and now you're asking yourself to go to bed and meditate. But the bigger dominant habit is the one of going to bed to sleep. And there's also the psychology. If you've just woken up and you just sit up in bed, you haven't really broken the sleep pattern as such. You're still in bed, you're still warm and comfortable, blah, blah. And so you're not kind of creating a sacred space that's all about meditation. You're mixing up the identity of this space. Is it sleep or is it meditation? So if bed is where you want to meditate and you've just woken up, then I'd recommend getting up, maybe having a glass of water, brushing your teeth, maybe just doing something in the house for 5 minutes, and then go to bed to meditate, because then you're breaking the association by putting something in between the waking up part and the meditating part that will help you to realize that, right, I need to turn up now, I need to be awake, this is meditation time. So hopefully in here there's some stuff that's useful. If you are kind of really finding it a bit of a struggle, then speak to your meditation teacher, and also speak, genuinely speak to your doctor, speak to your preferred health advisor, whether that's a nutritional therapist, a Reiki person, or whoever you trust. Explain to them, because there's a lot of knowledge out there about energy. And most importantly, don't give yourself a hard time, okay? Everyone falls asleep. I've done it, and it happens all the time. Years ago, I was doing a weekend course, and we're doing this lovely guided meditate, and I had everyone stretched out on these yoga mats, and we were exploring crystals and things like this. And then from the corner of the room, there was this loud rumbling noise, and someone had fallen asleep and was snoring. It was actually really entertaining. I kind of abandoned that exercise because it set everyone off giggling in the room. But the point is, I didn't tell that person off. They were just tired. And they saw the funny side of it. Everyone else saw the funny side of it. And when there was time, I had a little chat with that person about, are you tired permanently? In which case, let's look at what we can do. So at no point do we ever use an experience to beat ourselves up and give ourselves a hard time, because we're all learning. Every single time you sit down to meditate is the first time that you've ever meditated. And with that kind of approach in mind, then just experiment. If you're always meditating at the same time and you're always getting the same result, then change the time of the day that you meditate. Maybe do 2 shorter meditates. If you find that you can meditate for 20 minutes and then you fall asleep, then do 2 20-minute meditates instead of trying to do a 40-minute meditate. But always notice that if you are defining a limit, that you also have the attitude that you want to challenge that limit. So don't go, right, that's it, I'm only ever going to do 20 minutes. No, as well as adapting how you meditate, look at the other factors that are going to support you in terms of your sleep patterns and your diet, and whether or not you're drinking too much coffee, or whether or not, for example, one of the things that can really make you tired in the afternoon is eating a lot of carbohydrates. So maybe you're just on a bit of a sugar crash. And again, this is something to talk through with a nutritional therapist or with a dietitian, because so many of us are actually wheat intolerant and we don't realize it. And so we have a big bowl of pasta, and then we literally are kind of semi-comatose for the next 3 hours, because our body's just had this massive carbohydrate rush, and then insulin kicks in and everything else happens, and we're literally crashing energy-wise. But we're also having this reaction to the food that's making us feel very slow and sluggish and lethargic. So personally for me, since I've been vegan, I felt my energy levels are a lot higher, and that really helps with my meditation as well. So diet really does make a big difference. Am I saying you have to be vegan? No, absolutely not. But I am saying is explore the connection between your energy levels and diet, because it really is a very tight connection. And if you're consistently feeling tired and you're getting enough sleep, then that would be the next place to look and kind of explore what's going on there. So enjoy your meditation, play around with it, challenge yourself a little bit, explore things, and most importantly, find out for yourself, because it's your spiritual journey, it's your inner peace, it's your stillness, and that's what has value. Thank you. So thank you for taking the time to watch this video. I really hope you found it enjoyable, but also useful. If you've not already done so, then check out the first video that I did, and then all the subsequent videos, because watching them in the order that they're presented you'll get the most benefit from them. As with all the other things I do, including the teaching, MP3 downloads, articles and the ebook, everything I do for free. And I put it out there simply to help people just like you to get the most from their meditation. So please do feel free to share this video with others. And if you've not already had a look, then head on over to my website, where you'll find lots of downloads, useful articles, and even a free ebook. And most importantly, enjoy meditating and putting into practice these different techniques and things that we're learning. Thank you again for taking the time, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.